Imagine standing in a museum, staring at a breathtaking painting. The colors feel intentional, the composition deliberate, the emotion unmistakable. Now imagine discovering that no human hand ever touched a brush to create it. No childhood spent sketching, no sleepless nights chasing inspiration, no beating heart behind the canvas, just code, just data, just a machine. That moment of realization, confusion mixed with awe, and maybe a little discomfort, is where our story begins. Because today, art is no longer created by humans alone. And understanding how machines create what many now call masterpieces forces us to rethink creativity itself. Artificial intelligence creating art sounds like science fiction, but it's not a distant future or a speculative idea. It's happening right now, reshaping galleries, design studios, advertising, social media, and even the definition of what art is. To truly understand AI art, we need to go beyond the headlines and hype and look carefully, step by step, at how these systems actually work, what they can and cannot do, and why this shift matters so deeply to artists, technologists, and audiences alike. At its core, AI art is not about machines suddenly becoming conscious or emotional. There is no hidden spark of inspiration inside an algorithm. Instead, AI art emerges from a process rooted firmly in mathematics, statistics, and data. Modern AI art systems are built on machine learning, specifically a branch called deep learning. These systems are trained using enormous datasets that contain millions, sometimes billions, of images paired with text descriptions. The AI does not see these images the way humans do. It analyzes them as patterns of pixels, colors, shapes, and relationships, learning statistical associations between visual features and descriptive words. One of the most influential technologies behind AI, generated art, is the neural network. Inspired loosely by the structure of the human brain, neural networks consist of layers of interconnected nodes that process information. When training an AI art model, these networks are exposed to massive amounts of visual data. Over time, they adjust internal parameters to reduce errors in prediction. For example, if the AI is shown thousands of images labeled sunset, it gradually learns which combinations of colors, gradients, and shapes are statistically likely to correspond to that word. Importantly, the system does not store or recall specific images. Instead, it builds a probabilistic understanding of visual concepts. This learning process became especially powerful with the development of diffusion models, which now form the backbone of many leading AI art tools. Diffusion models work by first learning how to add noise to images, essentially breaking them down into static, and then learning how to reverse that process. During training, the AI takes a clear image, progressively adds random noise until the original image is nearly unrecognizable, and then learns how to reconstruct the image step by step. Once trained, the model can start with pure noise and gradually shape it into a coherent image guided by a text prompt. The result feels almost magical, but it's grounded in careful mathematical optimization. When a user types a prompt like a Renaissance-style portrait of a woman in soft candlelight, the AI translates those words into numerical representations called embeddings. These embeddings interact with the learned patterns inside the model, guiding the image generation process. The AI predicts, pixel by pixel, what the most statistically likely next step should be. Over hundreds or thousands of iterations, the image slowly emerges. There is no intention, no self-awareness, just an extremely sophisticated form of pattern completion. This raises an important question. If AI doesn't understand art, why does the output feel so expressive? The answer lies in the data. AI art systems are trained on human-made images, created across centuries by countless artists. Every brushstroke style, compositional rule, and aesthetic trend embedded in the data influences the model's output. In a sense, AI art reflects a compressed mirror of human visual culture. It doesn't invent new artistic languages from scratch, but it recombines existing ones in ways that can feel novel, surprising, and sometimes deeply moving. However, this process also exposes one of the most controversial aspects of AI art training data. These models rely on vast datasets scraped from the internet, including artworks, photographs, and illustrations. While the training process does not store or reproduce exact copies, it undeniably depends on the labor of human creators. This has sparked ongoing legal and ethical debates about consent, copyright, and compensation. Artists have raised concerns about their work being used without permission, while developers argue that training falls under fair use and produces transformative outputs. As of now, courts around the world are still grappling with how existing intellectual property laws apply to machine learning. Beyond legal concerns, there is also a cultural tension. For centuries, art has been tied to human experience, to emotion, struggle, identity, and personal expression. When a machine produces an image that evokes similar feelings, it challenges deeply held assumptions about creativity. But it's crucial to recognize that AI does not replace human imagination. It amplifies and reshapes it. Every AI-generated artwork begins with a human decision, the choice of prompt, the selection of parameters, the curation of outputs. In professional settings, artists often use AI as a collaborative tool, refining results through multiple iterations, combining machine-generated elements with human editing and judgment. In industries like advertising, film concept art, and game design, AI art has already become a powerful productivity tool. Concept artists can generate dozens of visual ideas in minutes, exploring styles and compositions that would have taken days to sketch by hand. This speed does not eliminate the need for human skill. Instead, it shifts the creative process. Artists spend less time on repetitive drafts and more time on storytelling, refinement, and direction. The machine becomes a creative assistant, not an autonomous artist. Yet the democratizing effect of AI art is perhaps its most transformative impact. For the first time, people without formal artistic training can translate their ideas into visual form. A writer can visualize characters, a teacher can create custom illustrations, a small business owner can design marketing visuals without hiring a full creative team. This accessibility expands who gets to participate in visual culture, though it also raises questions about oversaturation and originality in a world where images can be generated endlessly. Critics often argue that AI art lacks soul, but that critique may misunderstand what art fundamentally is. Art has always been shaped by tools, from charcoal to oil paint, from photography to digital software. New technologies have repeatedly disrupted artistic norms. When photography first emerged in the 19th century, many painters feared it would make them obsolete. Instead, it transformed art, giving rise to impressionism, abstraction, and entirely new ways of seeing. AI may represent a similar inflection point, not the end of art, but a redefinition of artistic practice. That said, there are real risks. Bias in training data can influence AI-generated images, reinforcing stereotypes or excluding certain perspectives. If the data overrepresents specific cultures or aesthetics, the outputs will reflect that imbalance. Responsible AI development requires transparency, diverse datasets, and ongoing evaluation. Researchers and developers are actively working on techniques to reduce bias, improve attribution, and give creators more control over how their work is used. Another critical limitation is that AI does not possess understanding or intention. It cannot evaluate meaning, context, or ethical implications on its own. When AI generates disturbing or misleading images, responsibility lies with the humans who design, deploy, and use the system. This is why governance, policy, and public literacy around AI are just as important as technical innovation. Looking ahead, AI art is likely to become more integrated into everyday creative workflows. Models will become more controllable, allowing artists to guide composition, lighting, and style with greater precision. Hybrid approaches that blend human sketches with AI refinement are already emerging. At the same time, society will continue debating where to draw boundaries, how to protect creators, and how to ensure that technological progress aligns with human values. Understanding how machines create art does not diminish the mystery of creativity, it reframes it. AI reveals that much of what we consider artistic style can be described, analyzed, and recombined. But it also highlights what machines cannot replicate: lived experience, intention, and emotional consciousness. The most compelling AI art often resonates not because of the machine, but because of the human vision guiding it. So the next time you see an AI-generated image that stops you in your tracks, remember what you're really witnessing. You're not seeing a machine dreaming or feeling. You're seeing a reflection of humanity's collective visual history, filtered through mathematics, shaped by human prompts, and brought to life by computational power. AI art is not a replacement for human creativity. It's a new lens through which creativity is expressed. As we stand at this crossroads between art and algorithms, the question is no longer whether machines can create compelling images. They already can. The real question is how we,